So Battle Nations is one of those games where it just holds really, really, really like close to my heart. I just walk around some days and I just genuinely like just think about the game sometimes. So to keep it short and sweet, the game just kind of basically did a Club Penguin. So, big corporation bought it and they were like, meh, we'll shut it down, just to get the other people, just to get the little people, playing our other game. But let's just go really into like why this game was just so special. I think to many people, but also mainly to myself. So a lot of you guys that are kind of new to this as well might be thinking, Battle Nations Cosme? I really haven't heard of Battle Nations. Well, what do you do for the game? Well, like what's the game plot about? And I'm mainly just going off the wiki, but it says here, in Battle Nations, players build up their military force and deploy them to defend and expand their little base. Players can engage friend v friend, so PvP basically, or random PvP matches basically. People will be going against computers and other factions in the game, but we got the guys with the gas masks, the red guys with the gas masks, the blue guys with the gas masks, infected guys with gas masks. Let me think. There's one more. I think that's it actually. But no, basically it was kind of Clash of Clans before Clash of Clans, if that makes sense. But like, to be fair, I say that, and I think people do like to compare that, but Clash of Clans doesn't have certain little other features. Well, I mean, combat's completely different. The way the game works is completely different, because in Clash of Clans you have a set little area to build your base, whereas in Battle Nations you kind of expand outwards and just kind of make your own big like empire. It says on the thing empire, but no, screw it. You just rebuild a whole ass empire. You just do a whole thing there. But as lore goes, I'm also going off this with the wiki too. As captain of the 95th Rifle Company, part of the Imperial Army, your mission is to create a super weapon that can eliminate the rebel army. Join forces with a diverse group of heroes and misfits to experience a dramatic wartime story. Build your outpost, gather a formidable army, and take on powerful villains across the northern frontier and beyond, aided by characters like Lieutenant Morgan, Sergeant Ramsey, Floyd Perks, and Zoe, and many more, to safeguard the Empire from treachery. So Battle Nations was just like, I think one of, or if not like the only kind of strategy-ish game that was there at the time when it first came out. I mean, well, 2011 was a very long time ago now. I do have to also, I need to make a quick side note. When I was a kid, I used to watch all these YouTubers like play Battle Nations a lot, like really late game Battle Nations. They always just spammed the fuck out of this really, really big tank. I forgot what it was called, but they just any sort of adversary, they just kept using the damn thing. And I got jealous because I was like, I want those. And I was stuck with, like, I couldn't even use my, like, parents' credit card. And, like, it's just, like, And also the credit card, I am alluding to the fact that I had to use a credit card. But side tangent aside, though, like, the amount of diverse troops that you can get, like, literally, the factions that I mentioned before, the weird guys with the gas mask, you could literally just get those guys as troops. I don't exactly remember how. I am quickly having a flick through the wiki. You can get like specific like camps for them and then make them with their own currencies. But like, it was just one of those games where it was just like they were doing stuff that were like new back then. But may I also add, the art style was also just like, it was... It's if you look at Battle Nations from like the outside looking in, it's like, well, obviously it's dated, but it's like, it's a bit of a weird kind of mix of like cartoony and also gritty, if that makes sense. Like, okay, not the Fortnite emote. The amount of troops that you get were like insane. Like, you literally could go from like enemy troops, cool tanks, like fucking animals. You could get animals. You can just straight up breed animals and just have them fight for you. It was insane. You had to like really manage like your population because like it was quite scarce, or well, depending on where you were in the game, it was quite scarce because it's like you need to build housing, but if you don't have enough housing, you know, you can't do stuff, and you know, you need stuff to make more housing and whatnot. But like it was the small things, like having agriculture or having like ranches for like your kind of workers to work and like produce things. Like, I don't think Clash of Clans, or if I don't remember right, like Clash, because I know I love comparing Clash of Clans to this game. Obviously, two different games, but like, I'm just saying, for like 2011, for a mobile game, this was great, and like, it was insane, and like the attention to detail as well that I can remember. It's like when like it's like training facilities and stuff, if they don't have correct workers, or if they don't have like the amount of workers that are supposed to be in there, like you see little animations for the little huts or like the little things, and it's like, you know, you'll see them like training or whatever. If there's no one there, it'll just be desolate. But also you need them to like work crucial kind of like defensive buildings. And what defensive buildings are is that when like either people, like players, or kind of like the NPCs attack, there'll be like a little square around an area with an icon saying like, you know, these gas mask scary people are raiding you, go deal with them. If they're on top of a defensive building, that defensive building will help you in the turn-based fighting like kind of game that you play every time you get into a fight. And that's like the best part, because it's like, it's a building that you've made. You kind of think it's useless, a little bit useless, because you know, you assume that it just prevents like people from like, or like raiders from like raiding specific parts, but it genuinely does like actually really help during the fight, because like, oh, some of those guys are really annoying. Just quick, another side tangent real quick, I promise it won't be that long, but like, there's this one enemy troop that I could not stand, and it was actually, no, it was two of them. It was like this guy in like a hoodie, not a hoodie, but like this like cloak, holding two knives, and like he stabbed like twice or something, like at the air, and it did like a stupid amount of damage for some reason, and this was just me as a kid. And then the other one was like this big fucking beefy guy with two fists, and he'd also do a shit ton of damage to just random like things anywhere. So all these like attention to details is all great and all, ahead of time, cool game, cool art style, cool mechanics, cool fights. Here's the main problem though, that I think everyone can just agree with, is the freemium kind of like play style. So the freemium play style, if anyone's kind of familiar, not familiar, or whatever, I hate comparing Clash of Clans, but let's go with Fortnite. It's a free-to-play game. That's what Battle Nations was. It was a free-to-play game, but I had a shit ton of like microtransactions that like pretty much sometimes just made the game feel unplayable. So there's certain aspects to the game where like sometimes it feels like they're really incentivizing you to like buy the premium currency. I think it was called like nanobots, something like that. But they really wanted you to buy those things. That also goes with training the troops, because I think later on during the game, I think midway through the game, some of the training just gets ridiculous, because I think, oh, I mean, it's not as like ridiculous as Clash of Clans, where it's like 18 or like 20 days for your town hall to like, you know, repair. But like it takes a lot of time. I think like some of them take 24 and 48 hours to like build one troop. And that's one troop. Sometimes, you know, multiple troops are needed, or multiple the same troops are needed for either objectives or battles to make them easier. But it's just like, it's aspects of that as well that like just doesn't sit right with a lot of people. Well, naturally so, but like I think that's what also contributed to like the game just kind of like fading out and just kind of like basically leading to no one playing, because it's like, not only that, you know, decorations, but those are optional, but like I think expansions as well. Expansions, you really needed to have like the premium currency, otherwise you literally couldn't do it. Please do correct me if I'm wrong in the comments as well. It's been a very, very long time since I played Battle Nations, so, you know, my memory and the wiki also might be quite wrong. But just like the game, like going back to like the game anyway, it was just so unbelievably grindy at certain times, especially at the beginning, because it's like you start off with troopers with bolt actions and then make your way down to like cooler troops, but they do this thing where it's like they tease certain big troops. So like if I remember right, there's this guy with a minigun. The only way you could get him was through getting them through the premium currency. There was no way of like collecting certain resources to actually like make and get them, which, like I said, that's also one of the big things and big complaints that I have about this game, is that like there was no alternatives to some of the troops, because like some of the troops looked really cool and like looked kind of useful, but you literally couldn't get them because there was no alternative to like, you know, like there's no option to say like you can either get them with these resources or you can pay the premium currency and get them right now. Most of them, and I think a lot of the end game ones anyway, most like a good portion of them, you know, had just like fucking premium currency. Pay up, bitch. But yeah, no, rambling aside though, it was a really good game and like a really like big game. I mean, looking back, I do remember as well Team Fortress 2 having a crossover with Battle Nations. I think if I remember right, they added the Scout, the Heavy, the Demo Man, the Soldier, the Pyro, and I think maybe the Spy? Maybe? I don't know. Probably not. But no, they had like really big game. Well, a quite big game, especially 2014. They had a really big game on their hands, being a crossover, and like having the troops fight for you is like, you know, was a pretty cool sight to see. And I think Scout and Heavy were pretty attainable. It was just afterwards was paying with the premium currency as per usual. But no, yeah, looking back at it, it was just such a quirky but like really interesting game that, like, to be honest, if it were around right now, I mean, it wouldn't have the same kind of, I mean, it might, you know, still have the same kind of notoriety as it would be like how it started. I mean, it could have been like Minecraft, where it had like a really good rise, like a pretty bad low fall, and then maybe got interest yet again. But you know, with game companies that like basically sold their souls to like bigger corporations, having it closed down and whatnot, it's like, you know, we can only speak hypothetical. I mean, there is a kind of like tight-knit or niche community that is trying to revive the game. I have tried playing it, but you need to pay the Patreon, and like, I really would. It's currently at its open beta right now though, so if you're really interested, you can go check them out. You know, I'll put a link in the description just for like, you know, anyone who's interested. I think the starting price is like $5 a month, and then afterward it's however much. I can't really remember. But I know the first payment, well, the first kind of level is $5 a month. So if you're interested in playing the game again, then you can get that. But yeah. Leave any comments though on like any shared kind of memories you have of Battle Nations, or just any sort of like, you know, thoughts you have on like the game and this video. I guess I'm just kind of rambling on right now. Like and subscribe, and you know, hopefully I can catch you guys later. See ya.